Being that it is 7:01, I would like to call to order the June 1st Mount Angel City Council meeting. Please join me in the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilor Bullock is absent. Councilor Eater,
Here.
Councilor Hooper, here. Councilor Astorga,
Here.
Councilor Donahue, here. Councilor Ott,
Here.
Mayor Bauer.
Here. So we have an email that was sent to council regarding the bus route for the 20X bus hearings. And effectively what happens is after the stop, it goes down this road here, and there was a resident that wanted to offer a alternative route. And so if you'd like the letters in there, you can read it. I do know that also copy was operational folks from Chariots, and that they responded that they will look into what safest outcome for this situation is. So next we're going to have Angela with the Marion Soil and Water Conservation District. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. 1 second. Laptop right there. I just see my notes, if that's okay. Well, thank you all for having me. My name is Angela Plowhead. I'm the chair of the Marion Water and Soil Conservation District. And we really wanted to go around the district and just talk to people about what it is that we do, who we are, and what sorts of services we offer to the public in each of the communities that we serve. And so our district is made up of 5 zones. The zones are all represented by a director who has been elected by Marion County registered voters. We also have 2 at-large positions that are also elected by voters from around the district. This is an election year, so we do have elections coming up. So if you know of anyone that would like to join our group, then we actually have zones 1, 2, 3, 5, as well as one of our at-large positions that are open for election this year. The district is located on the east side of the Mid-Willamette Valley River Basin, and we work with urban and rural property owners, operators, public officials, and over 60 state and federal agencies, as well as educational institutions and private organizations to conserve natural resources across Marion County. Our mission is to partner with people in the support of thriving lands, clean water, and healthy habitats. We do this through planning, technical assistance, and education that we provide for free throughout the county. Our strategic plan, which you can see that looks like this, is a document that we provide every 5 years. We don't have a copy of this, but you can find it on our website. And so our last one was completed for the 2024-2029 cycle. It ensures that we're working to perform and that our partners are, we're partnering with people that are in line with the district's mission. And so on the right, you can see our annual report, which you all have in front of you. And so this is just sort of a snapshot of what we've done this year in meeting those goals, which are to inspire conservation, promote healthy soils and clean water, create healthy habitats, productive working lands, establish and maintain effective partnerships, and promoting organizational health. I'll go into a little bit of detail about some of the things that we do. So our largest programs have to do with our grants that we offer. We have a number of different grants that we utilize to help promote all of those goals that we just talked about. We have our conservation assistance grant, which is to promote best practices and conservation throughout by issuing grants that will help do things like erosion control, weed control, overgrazing assistance. Our cover crop grant is to help fund and offset seed costs, labor, and equipment costs associated with planting cover crops. We have our special projects grant, which supports projects that provide examples of practices that, if widely accepted, could solve local area resource concerns, either through the adoption of new or innovative technologies, or even technologies that are proven but are underrepresented here in our area. We also have our Conservation Learning Education Resources Grant, which also called our CLEAR grant, which is usually utilized by schools or homeschools to participate in things like our Salmon Watch education program, outdoor schools, or other conservation education. We've more recently done a partner grant, which we've had a 3-year cycle that we've done as a test, and we're looking at adopting that long-term. Overall, throughout our programs, we have distributed $469,390,000 to various organizations and individuals for the conservation in the last year. And we've also been able to educate over 3,100 K through 12 students from 17 different schools. One of the ways that we provide education in our community and conservation practices in our community is through our native plant sales. We have 2 different ones that we do. Through that, we have been able to get over 8,100 native plants into the hands of our community members and generate over $10,000 worth of revenue in order to assist students with a scholarship that will help them to go on to obtain higher education in environmental or conservation programs. We usually give 3 to 4 of those grants every year. Another way that we do that is through our Little Habitat project, which is a certification project district-wide. We have about 20 cities that are participating in that. And we've had 152 people enroll in the program, and 60 of those have been able to get certified. So they get a plaque that talks about all the certification details that they've gone through. They work with our technical staff in order to help develop their plan and come up with how to the criterion for meeting the plan for them in their area. So oftentimes those are things like community gardens, or we have a lot of them in more urban areas where people have done more of a natural plant garden for their own private garden, but it's able to be viewed, along the street. So I've mentioned technical assistance. So technical assistance is one of the biggest assets that we provide to our community. We have 9 staff that are able to provide a number of different technical assistance for lots of different programs or projects that anyone can have. You can have one in your neighborhood, you can have one in your yard, you can have one along a river or in your field. So there's no limitation to who we will assist. You just have to be in our district. I mentioned earlier about pasture and livestock management. So more than just soil health practices, we also assist with that. We also assist with natural area conservation, things like invasive weed management, wildfire preparedness, invasive pest issues. And we do that in, like I mentioned, a number of different spaces, both urban and rural. One of the programs that we do is our agriculture conservation education presentations. Those are primarily tailored for 4-H clubs or FFA clubs. In the last year, through all of the different programs that we utilize, we have been able to educate over 3,300 youth and over 2,700 adults. One of the things that we provide education for is through our First Friday presentations, which is a webinar. And then we also have a conservation spotlight on a local radio station, KMUC. One of the larger scale projects that we're doing is through the Oregon Climate and Agricultural Network, or ORCAN. They're working to create soil health hubs across the state. The district has been selected as the soil health hub for Marion County. And they aim to provide farmers and landowners the resources they need to ensure long-term soil health and climate resilience. We're also working with the Oregon Department of Agriculture and landowners to address water quality concerns across the district. Don't know if you're familiar, but even though we have a lot of regulation around water and water usage, here in Oregon, we have some of the worst quality water in the nation. One of the projects that we've taken up most recently is related to the emerald ash borer, providing education and outreach across the district. It's a native, I'm sorry, not a native, it's an invasive pest that's killing ash trees across the state. It has been identified here in Marion County. We've been providing virtual workshops as well as in-person workshops across the district, preparing landowners for the arrival of this pest in our area and helping landowners become citizen scientists, essentially, to help us identify where the emerald ash borer is populating. So one of the ways that people can partner with us is through, I mentioned earlier, the grant programs that we have. We have one that has a deadline that's coming up here in July. So if anyone in the community is interested, we would ask them to send us a letter of interest by July 9th. And that's for our conservation assistance grant that I mentioned earlier. And applications for that are due July 30th. We also have our CLEAR grant coming up. And so I mentioned earlier that that's one that oftentimes schools, homeschoolers, other people with educational programs use. And so the applications for that are due August 25th. And then our cover crop assistance grant is going to be opening up on August 1st for applications. And you can visit the district website for more detailed information about all of our grant programs when they open and when they close. So we don't have any particular projects right now here in Mount Angel, but I wanted to highlight some that are here in your area and close to your community. So, sorry, my entire slide just went away. So we have done quite a few projects in Overton. So the Community Roots School that hosts the Silver Salmon Day is one that we did there. It reached 150 community members. Through that, we've educated people within the community on the salmon life cycle, habitat, and the importance of water quality. We've assisted the Oregon Garden with a number of different projects, the compost demonstration garden renovation, as well as we've hosted several education and outreach opportunities there for homeschoolers, the Envirothon high school competition, as well as the oak restoration workshop. And then we've recently hosted a workshop there for wildfire risk and readiness. So I really appreciate you letting me come and educate everyone on what it is that we do and who we are. We would love to join with you on projects. So if you have beautification projects or restoration projects that you would like to engage in here, we would love to have our staff assist you with that. Maybe it's providing a grant, maybe it's just the technical assistance, but we want to be an integrated part in our community and all the communities that we serve. If you have any questions, I would be happy to fill them.
I have one, so under your little Habitat project, you say 20 cities are enrolled or district wide, so give us an example of what one particular city is doing with Marion Soil and Water.
Well, I give you some with Silverton. So we've had, I think they have around 30 of the little habitat projects there. And they're usually things like community gardens. Like I mentioned, it can be an individual. So it can be a person who has a garden within their home that they want to use native plants in, or have some sort of erosion issue. And so those can be part of the little habitat project. We've had some in Kaiser where along in the Rapids Park, Little Rapids Park, we have had several in Staten. We've had one where people wanted to have a restoration area along a shared river bank. So it can really be anything. We just have to have whoever is running the project work with our technical staff on developing what the criteria are for that particular project.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you, Angela. Appreciate it.
So thank you for allowing me to come.
Any interested citizens?
Not tonight.
Okay. All right, moving on to the accounts payable report. Counselor Storga, anything?
No.
Counselor Donahue?
No.
Counselor Ott?
No.
Counselor Eater? No. I believe I am good as well. So moving on to consent agenda, the city council meeting minutes from May 4th. Questions, comments, corrections? Counselor Storga.
No, I can see any.
Counselor Ott,
No.
Counselor Hopper, Counselor Eater.
I'm good.
Okay, I only had two. Packet page 29. Mayor Faucity talked to the superintendent of schools. That should be the athletic director, Kevin Moffett. And under number 13, there is a spelling error that I will let you find.
Which page?
Packet page 34 under item 13.
Okay.
With those corrections, I would entertain a motion.
I will move to further consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion from Counselor Eater, seconded by Counselor Ott to approve this consent agenda. Roll call, please.
Counselor Ott.
Aye.
Counselor Bullock is absent. Counselor Eater.
Aye.
Counselor Hoover.
Aye.
Counselor Astorga.
Aye.
Counselor Donahue.
Aye.
And Mayor Pat.
Aye. Moving on to unfinished business. There. So soon. Good job, Counselor Donahue. Alright, let me find my spot here. Item 9A, Lagoon Solids Removal Contract. We're back with it again, but we have good reason.
Because I was given the documents to sign to execute the contract and I read the fine print. And so there was no resolution explicitly giving me authorization to sign the contract. So I'm back for you tonight for that specific authorization.
So to clarify, there's been no changes to the contract. It is simply the addition in the motion and the resolution to authorize our city manager to sign the contract, something that we missed in the motion last month. Correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Any questions? All right. I move to approve resolution 1625 awarding the 2026 sewer sludge removal project to Sinagro WWT Inc. and authorize the city manager, chief of police Mark Vanderbilt to sign the agreement.
I'll second.
A motion from Councilor Donahue, seconded by Councilor Sorga, for the roll call please.
Councilor Donahue,
Aye.
Councilor Ott,
Aye.
Councilor Bolek is absent, Councilor Eater,
Aye.
Councilor Hooper,
Aye.
Councilor Astorga,
Aye.
Mayor Dodd.
Aye. On to new business. Item 10A, electing state shared revenue. I believe when I get there, because yours, right?
Yes. Yes. This is something we have to do annually to receive the state shared revenues. So if there's any questions, please ask.
How can we get more money?
Appeal to the state. Either that or go sell more alcohol and cigarettes and that kind of thing.
Drink up now, Angel.
Tax. cigarette, right? Any questions on this one? Okay,
I move to approve the attached resolution declaring the city's election to receive state share revenue for fiscal year 2026 and 2027.
second. I have a counselor I have a motion from Councilor Hofer, seconded by Councilor Eater. For the roll call, please.
Councilor Astorga,
Aye.
Councilor Donahue, Councilor Ott,
Aye.
Councilor Bolek is absent, Councilor Eater,
Aye.
Councilor Hooper,
Aye.
Mayor Dodd.
Aye. Item 10B, 2026-2027 budget adoption, making appropriations and ad valorem taxes.
So before I go into the CAP or mentioning our requested changes, I do need to make a statement that we sent in our newspaper notice, our required publishing to the newspaper. They had an error in printing it. I wasn't notified until I think a week after the printing. They offered to print it again this last Wednesday. I didn't verify to make sure that it was reprinted. However, our legal duty was done in submitting and approving the proof that was correct. So I reached out to the Oregon Budget Law Taxation and Finance Department, and they said, just go ahead and put the notice on our website, and then make a statement here that we had done our due diligence, and we tried to plaster it around in different avenues once the publishing did it well.
Have there been any calls for it since or questions?
Yeah, no. No.
Just curious.
Fortunately and unfortunately, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Had to ask.
Yeah. So as stated in the CAF, we would like to make a minor change in the water department by increasing system improvements by $30,000 for a total of $70,000, which is a 9% increase, which is just below your ability to make changes. That also needs to then increase the $5,000 in contingency to a total of $62,000. And then both of those reduce the reserve for future expense by a total of $35,000. Any questions?
Yes. Entertain a motion.
Move to approve resolution 1622, adopting the budget, making appropriations, imposing and categorizing ad valorem taxes. 26-27 fiscal year as amended.
Before we take a vote, we need to hold a hearing. We need to have another public hearing,
Wow, okay.
sorry.
Okay.
Would you mind opening a hearing?
At this time, I'd like to open public hearing on the 2026-2027 budget adoption. Mr. Kemp, do we have anyone here with public comment regarding our 2026-2027 budget?
We do not.
Hearing none, I will now close the public hearing of regarding the 2026-2027 budget adoption.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
That's right, I got another question when we're done on this, so.
I'm gonna make a motion again.
Yeah, you should make the motion.
Sounds good.
I move to approve resolution 1622, adopting the budget, making appropriations, imposing and categorizing ad valorem taxes. 2026-27 fiscal year as amended.
I'll second.
A motion by Counselor Hooper, seconded by Counselor Donahue. We have a roll call vote, please.
Counselor Hooper,
Aye.
Counselor Estorga,
Aye.
Counselor Donahue. Aye. Counselor Ott,
Hi.
Counselor Colette is absent, Counselor Eater,
Aye.
Mayor Fowler.
Aye. I need to ask a procedural question before we move on. Item 10E, we will need to open the contract review board, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
On the item 9A, unfinished business, we had the contract review board on the initial resolution.
We did.
Do we need to go back and open the contract review board hearing to do this new
I
resolution?
don't believe we should have to. It was just an update to who gets to sign. It wasn't
Okay.
so much we're reapproving the contract, as well, we're just giving authorization to the city manager to sign.
Okay,
I would,
and having no public comment, we're gonna trust that, okay, moving on. To 10C. Resolution updating our fee schedule. Tara.
so in the past, we have, each year we've continued to increase the utility rates and the ambulance licensed by the Seattle Tacoma Bellevue CPIU for December of 2025. So I'm bringing this again for this year. There was also I threw on there the standby fire protection. For some reason, it's never been listed, so I threw that on there. But they've always been fees, and they've also always increased. And then Natalia is requesting to increase the fix-it ticket amount from $40 to $50 to be in alignment with every other city that utilizes Judge Zernoff's oftentimes she'll write 50 on all of our documents and say, that's not our fee. So just to eliminate confusion.
Questions?
Let's fix the ticket.
It's when somebody has like maybe expired plates or they're missing a plate and an officer says, just go remedy the situation and you don't have to come to court. You just pay your $50 potentially, and then we dismiss the ticket, but Mark can elaborate.
yeah, they come back to the police department with whatever the offense was fixed. We verify it. Then we sign off on the form, and then they go up to the court, pay $50. The citation is dismissed. And the city still makes a little bit of revenue.
She also uses fix-it tickets, you driving without a license.
There's a number, yeah, there's a number of violations, so could be expired driver's license, could be involved with provide insurance, could be a variety of.
Yes, our judge uses a very wide net with the ability to utilize the tickets.
And we ourselves have been a little out of the box occasionally on the Fix-It ticket, so it's good for it.
Oh, absolutely. Other questions?
So is this gonna be every 2 years and then, or
What is what?
the CPI adjustments
We've been doing it annually.
annually?
Yeah.
There's at some point, you know, start getting folks saying it's too expensive or too high and they're gonna just.
And you guys have every ability to say yes or no, or I'm just presenting what we had decided a while ago, just to do incremental increases. There's no mandatory, you have to pass this out.
I would argue that unfortunately our cost to operate this community is going up faster than the 3 and something percent.
And I don't know that I can remember anybody coming in. Actually complaining that we've been raising rates every year for the last. I mean, 8 or whatever since, you know, I mean. Since there was a 17-year gap where we didn't do anything. Yeah. Well,
I have one question on our police department fees. Under 911 tapes. It just says Norcom, is that whatever we get billed?
Don't say, we're-
Packet page 69, second item, but under police department fees.
yeah, so what that is, that should say Metcom, METCOM. And basically what that's inferring is if you want a recording of our 911, either the call or the radio traffic, that you'll contact.
Oh, okay,
We don't.
got it.
I didn't even know that.
Any other questions? Okay,
I move to approve the attached resolution adopting a master fee schedule for services provided by the city of Mount Inwood.
a motion by Counselor Eater, seconded by Counselor Hooper, go roll call please.
Counselor Eater,
Aye.
Counselor Hooper, aye, Counselor Estorga,
Nay.
Counselor Donovan, aye. Counselor Hawk,
Aye.
Counselor Bullock is absent, Mayor Bob.
Aye. Item 10D. 2026-2027 wage scale resolution for non-represented employees effective July 1, 2026. There you go, a lot tonight.
No, it's my month. Watch out. So as the CAF states, our 2 union represented employee groups have a 5% COLA. This offers the non-represented the same increase.
And this is what the 26-27 budget was built on, correct?
Correct. Yep. So there's no budget adjustment needed for this.
Questions? Okay.
I move to approve resolution 1524, adopting the wage scales of non-represented employees of the city of Mount Angel effective July 1st, 2026.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Donahue, seconded by Counselor Ah. Roll call please.
Counselor Eater,
Aye.
Counselor Estorga,
Aye.
Counselor Donovan,
Aye.
Counselor Hawk,
Aye.
Counselor Hooper, Counselor Beleg is absent, Mayor Cloud.
One question, what's the difference between the two pages?
Oh. I just took the second one out. There was a error in the CAP that said it would take effect in July of 2025. I corrected that on the CAP. It says 2026 and it was spelled there. I don't know.
He caught a few of my mistakes.
Item 10E, Burton Creek water line replacement. Mr. Dahlberg.
The water master plan prepared by Civil West was identified. The water line on Birch Street between East Markham Street and Taylor Street to be replaced to increase fire flow. The current water line is 4-inch cast iron and is to be upsized with 12-inch PVC. The bid opening for this project was held at Public Works on May 6th at 2 o'clock. Flow line construction submitted the lowest bid at $238,684. City staff recommends awarding the Birch Street water line replacement project flow line construction in the amount of $238,684.
It's like you have really good coverage as far as bidders.
Yeah.
We'll bring them up here, contract review board.
Yeah, I was. Stimming a little bit on the fact that this is the sample contract and then this is the old contract, and so I was just thinking through. Making sure that this got situated correctly before we passed it. So. But while I think about that, I'm gonna go ahead and open the contract review board public hearing. In regards to the Birch Street water line bid award. Resolution 1626. Mr. Kemp, do we have any interested parties?
We do not.
Any additional questions for the public hearing? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing by the contract review board on Birch Street water line bid resolution 1626.
We still have the 284,000 for the project, right? So in case there's change orders. We won't be caught. Oh, gosh, I need more.
Yeah, we got to continue.
And if it comes under budget, does that go back into the general or does that go back into the?
It stays in the water funds.
Just means a little bit more pipe next year. Right, okay.
Just add an extra 50 feet.
How are we determining the importance of these types of projects?
It's laid out in the master plan.
Part of what we paid our engineer for is to help prioritize.
Which pipes to do first?
Which ones are most important?
So is there already a 12 on one end that's tying into?
On East Markham, well, a 10 to 10. But there's no 12.
Definitely a little more water.
Mhm.
Okay. The water sample station upstairs. Right. And Civil West is the one that's calced it out to 12-inch necessity, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. And just so we all know, this will be the contract once we fill in the name of contracting entity and the award price of $238,684, assuming we move forward with the flow line construction.
Yes.
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Move to approve the award of Burt Street one equipment project for fill and construction in amount of $38,684 and authorize site manager, chief of police Mark Daniel to execute contract documents.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Hooper, seconded by Counselor Donahue, roll call please.
Counselor Black is absent, Counselor Eater,
Aye.
Counselor Hooper,
Aye.
Counselor Astoria.
Aye.
Counselor Donahue. Counselor Ott. Mayor Bauer.
We have our city manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Number one, I continue to be in communication with Congresswoman Bynum's office regarding our congressional earmark project request for the new reservoir. I received an email this last week to let me know that we are still in line for the support. The new amount, however, is $803,000, which is about 25% of the anticipated total project. But we can get a lot done for this amount. And I will make sure that I keep you all up to date as progress continues to move forward. It's not to say that we're going to we're going to be limited, but they're suggesting that we move forward with 803,000. So it very well could be more. So we'll just have to see what happens, but we can get a lot done with $803,000. Number two, I'd like to thank the mayor for traveling to Pendleton 2 weeks ago to attend the Oregon Association of Chiefs of Police award ceremony and banquet. The mayor was the only elected official present amongst all the chiefs of police and the command staffs. He accompanied me and Michelle Booley when our department was recognized for our status as an accredited agency. Northwest Accreditation Alliance will be on a future agenda item and present by Zoom to present our accreditation to the entire council formally. The police department has an applicant entering the final hiring processes and has accepted a conditional job offer. We're still looking on a second candidate. In fact, his site is tomorrow morning. Our ball field at Hebner Park is seeing a lot of use. In fact, it's in use tonight and probably will be in use till probably about 9 o'clock, 9:30, something like that. The lights are working really well and the field looks great and it's a lot of fun to see people enjoying their parks and having a good time with their families.
I like seeing the lines at the deli, the gas station and Burger Time when they're done. Or, you know, other places around town, but those are the most visible I see.
Well, it's cool and staff, I'll just say in general, has been very busy with a significant number of projects. Some that have started, some that will start soon. The summer is going to be a very busy time around the city. If you have a question, please let me know. We will get you the answers you're looking for. But I'd like to wish Dylan on his 6-month anniversary with the city. Congratulations and glad you're still here and making progress in our library. So
Me too.
thank you. Mayor, that's all I have.
What is the status of Railroad Avenue? Project.
They,
Sorry, I have to compartmentalize.
yeah.
But go ahead.
Civil West was given the green light to advertise. I haven't heard if they had or hadn't.
I haven't heard yet, so I'm gonna make contact with them tomorrow. So we had a meeting with tribes to do our due diligence with that, and so that passed. They didn't see anything to hold back the project. So they gave Civil West a green light, and that's the last I heard. And that was last week.
Awesome, okay.
What about our state friends and sidewalk improvements? Are they gonna?
Oh, God.
Still moving forward.
I will go on the record, I still believe that it will start beginning of September.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But what year?
Lucky for us, we have the same festival every September, so. Any other questions for Mr. Daniel? Alright,
Thank you.
for Youth Advisory Counselor, you going?
So, this Friday we have our JFK graduation. And then next Monday, the 8th, MAMS has their 8th grade promotion. And then the day after, Tuesday, June 9th, St. Mary's has their 5th grade promotion. And then all three of the events are at 7, in the JFK gym. But if any of you guys are planning on attending, I would take like a little hand fan because it gets so hot in those gyms around that time. And then our last day of school is June 12th. Also in Stratford. So that's all I have.
I love how they decorate the gym and then every school gets to use it.
Yeah.
That works out pretty great. So I was informed when I walked in that technically you are off the hook for the summer. Colby read the rules and he says you are allowed to take summer off. I'm requesting that you reapply next year, of course, because I think you've done a wonderful job and I hope you keep it up. And like I said, I hope we have a sophomore, junior, senior kind of role going here. As long as your father's okay, still sitting through these meetings, he doesn't. But you are still more than welcome to come. But your appointment is officially done at the end of the school year, so be free, have fun. Thank you for continuing to keep us up to date and for everything you've done. Hopefully, it hasn't been too boring and you've learned a few things. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Counselor reports. Counselor Donahue. Counselor Ott. Counselor Storger.
I almost hit a couple kids on those electric scooters on Taylor Street this afternoon. They were coming from Garfield and didn't stop.
Didn't stop.
Yep. I was going to the deli to get one of these. It's right before he came here, so I told him, just because you're in the road doesn't mean you have the right of way. You just stop at the stop sign. So, is there something we can do?
Educate.
It's gonna be a lot of that.
Yeah, I have a feeling one of those kids is gonna turn into hamburger and it's not gonna be good.
Problem is, these kids, and you and I both know, these kids didn't just pull their allowance and go off and buy these things without their folks.
Mhm.
So their parents are fully well aware and are giving them permission to drive them around town.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have the budget and in years past, you know, we've had donations made to the city to buy helmets for kids on bicycles. But, you know, community tolerance. You know, this is turning into a big deal. You know, we're dealing with somebody on an electric motorcycle, trying to capture them in another neighborhood. And we're gonna continue to have these problems, and these problems are even worse in more heavily populated areas. I saw a story done on television just over the weekend up in Bethany, up in unincorporated Washington County there. And I couldn't believe how many kids were buzzing around on electric bikes and scooters up there just in one parking lot. So they're everywhere. And you're right, there's a significant risk here. And while we've been extremely blessed so far with a lack of pedestrian related crashes, and I will call that pedestrians because under the law, it's been we've been very blessed so far. I am not as optimistic as I once was, given the fact that they can go as fast as they can. And they're not paying attention, they're not well lit, if they're lit at all.
Mhm.
And the overwhelming majority of them are not wearing helmets.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if we can do some education, like,
City newsletter.
yeah.
I just wrote that down.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna suggest, yeah.
So we'll do what we can, but I'm not gonna overpromise.
Yeah, cause I would have felt bad if that kid would have hit my fucking,
Of course you can.
and it's like, you know, it's terrible.
Yeah, I can guarantee you wouldn't be.
I slammed I had to slam my brakes on it,
Yeah.
you know, I'm still kind of shaken up about it, it's just.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I see them all over, I mean, they go up and down Taylor quite a bit. And they're whizzing by. And just, I dread the day that it happens, and I just, it's not a matter of when, it's if, when it happens, it's not if.
Thank you.
So I just, if we can do whatever we can to prevent it and educate them, I'm all for it.
I had two things on that. One, I'm a fan of being a little old school about it. I'm not beyond waiting for a kid to get home and knocking on the front door. Or using the parental network that we have in this town. I'll tell you one on an electric skateboard. Luckily, I was watching him and right in the middle of Spruce Street. And lucky for me, I know exactly who his dad is and I have his phone number. That kid doesn't ride a skateboard down the middle of Spruce Street anymore. So I think there's that, but I have a question. On average, how many helmets would the police department give out in any given year?
Back in the day, this is probably 6, 7, 8 years ago. We would do probably about 200, but we would also do a bike event downtown during National Night Out.
Little bike rodeo.
Yeah, bike rodeo, yeah. But since that's kind of dried up, we haven't had the call to do bike rodeos. In fact, they're not quite so popular anymore.
Cause they're all on scooters. Sorry.
But we do have e-bikes.
Yeah.
And as the weather gets better, I think you'll see a number of us out cruising around on e-bikes and probably having a chat. Because our employees will be wearing helmets and they will be obeying traffic laws.
So then, you said the law counts somebody on a bike or a scooter as a pedestrian, but if they're on a motorcycle, then that's, I mean, a powered vehicle, so the law has not caught up with e-bikes.
No, the law hasn't caught up with e-bikes. Now, if they're on an electric motorcycle, meaning no pedals, they're required to have insurance and headlights and taillights and brake lights and the whole 9 yards. In fact, they're required to have an Oregon license and insurance. And the person who's operating it has to be 16 or older and have to have a driver's license. They're considered mopeds, but without the pedals, they're in essence a motorcycle. So they're subject to all the rules and regulations of a motor vehicle.
Yeah, I just sold an e-bike for my brother-in-law on Saturday to the guy up in Wilsonville. In a sport motor, doing 45 miles an hour, and it had pedals. But.
And just think, they're not as stout as motorcycles. So if you're doing 45 miles an hour on an e-bike and you crash,
Very.
that's very scary.
We also have I think he's transitioned to a different form of electric transportation, but. Kid on Taylor that had his hoverboard with handles and so he'd sit on it. And it was very small fry, still is, so he'd sit down the street and be like, you can go out on this table. So there was many times when I was in my driveway, like, he'd look like this and also go by going, oh. He wouldn't stand a chance, he instantly dead.
That sounds like you need a doorknob.
That's why, rather than, go back to the letter that we talked about at the very beginning of the meeting tonight. And go to the citizen regarding the bus route. The point that you would make on this, kids can come running out from anywhere. And especially if they're that small, they're that adept at operating those type of electronic devices. And then really that fast, you'll never see them.
Anything else, Councilor Sawyer? Let me get you back on board.
Yeah, I gotta go home and sleep.
Councilor Over?
Yeah.
Councilor Rock? Councilor Eater? Okay, I just have a few things. I will say, for some reason, May seems to be the month I always get to repeat myself a lot, and I always get to say I got the honor to, and so you're gonna hear that quite a bit this go around. So, as our chief of police mentioned, I did have the honor of going over to Pendleton And it was great to see a lot of the partner communities there and see what goes on, learn quite a bit, and really see how even a town the size of Mount Angel is recognized on the state level. So that was really neat. I will admit I didn't know I was the only elected official until someone up on the stage pointed it out. And I think it's sad that other communities don't have the same working relationship that we do. So the other thing too is we had our Memorial Day service out at the Calvary Cemetery. It's always a I don't want to say a nice day, but a very respectful day. Had the flyover and all of that, and if you get an opportunity, it's definitely worth the trip. 2 days later, so would have been last Wednesday, we had what we'll call I call it a kickoff party. We call it a ground open, but really it's a kickoff party, and that is through the Epping Foundation, the American Legion Post 89 got a very large contribution to kickstart the process of replacing our very old Legion Hall from, I believe, mid-30s. And unfortunately for our Legion Hall, it is a very old school design of you either got to go upstairs or you got to go downstairs. And so based on what their current needs are, they're going to make a single level, same size building, and really hope that this turns into kind of a cornerstone for the community, because it won't just be the Legion using it. So if anybody's feeling generous, finds a rich uncle they forgot about, or any of the above, there's plenty of ways to contribute to the new hall for our Legion. See, Chief already brought up Ebner Park. It's been very cool to see different leagues, including the high school, using that park and really getting a lot out of it. And it's been working out great ever since it's been refreshed. And in 2 weeks, we will have all of our 92 flower baskets and boxes will start going up around town. At the same time, you will see my community announcement sign. That's what that's, I believe, what I called it. Installed on the side of the old pharmacy, directly across from Boxler's. I recommend you take a moment to take a look. There are 54, I believe 54 people or groups that contributed to saving that program this year. So there's a lot of names on the sign. So take a moment, check it out, thank some people. And you start to see flower baskets popping up around us. We started ours on the 16th because that was the funding I felt safe with. And the other communities don't have to make it through September with their flower baskets, and we do. So with that, that's all I have. If there's nothing else, I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you.